This is the TIFI Token 1-year overview reading for the year 2024. It's currently July 27th, 2023, 2:29 p.m. Eastern Time. TIFI at the time of this reading is currently 0.0000002471. That's 7 zeros after the decimal point, followed by 2471, and that's USD. And the shuffle file for the 2024 reading was created on July 25th, 2023 at 10:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme of behavior for TIFI in 2024, there's erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, and three crisscrosses back and forth, cross with three crisscrosses back and forth, confirming a bullish trend. So we're going to see like erratic behavior throughout the year, back and forth through the same price level. We'll be able to determine that price level maybe a little bit into the year as things progress. But we also want to keep in mind that the pleasure card has within it this revisiting of a crest that was recently a past opportunity. So we'll likely revisit a crest from on a multi-year scale, because it's the theme card for 1 year. And it's a big move in 2024. We may revisit these crests here. Let's see. Do we revisit the high in 2024? Yeah, we do. So big move there, and that's the start of a rally here. But there's a lot of back and forth in the midst of the start of this rally, right? Like three crisscrosses back and forth creates this confirmation of a rally, and at the end of the year, out of lows, there's a notable move to the upside. You can see we have this Princess of Cups here, followed by 2025 is like this rally increasing with momentum. So actually, it may be that this erratic behavior in 2024 is a continuation of this sidewaysy behavior. And the real rally commences in 2025 based on what we're looking at it on the 1 year. You have to give the multi-year readings about a 1 year wiggle room here or there, because not each card's going to line up perfectly with 1 year of time. It just doesn't work that way. But with that said, behavior around the highest high for 2024, we have out of a decline a significant move all the way from the bottom of a range to the top of the range on a multi-month kind of scale. Behavior around the low, we have a rally off of the low, offering an opportunity to open up a short position. We'll talk about the opening of that short position or short positions throughout the year in more detail in the paid version. And if you're interested in the paid version, guys, the way that you get the paid version, you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, our services, SO Meta posts. You want to scroll to 1 year report, click here, and then you can put in any ticker, any year, and any ticker here. Doesn't matter the year, doesn't matter the ticker or crypto symbol. So if you want to get the TIFI for 2024, obviously specify that here, but you can put in anything you want, any ticker or crypto that you're interested in that the channel isn't covering yet, and then click continue and purchase. It's a really great way to support the channel, and much appreciation goes out to all those sending their love back to the channel through that financial support, which is so essential, my friends. What it indicates when you see the Princess of Wands in the low correlator position, nothing's ever 100%, but most of the time it'll indicate a rally, like that we revisit the low, because you'll have a rally off the low and then you'll come back to the low, making that first rally off the low an opportunity. Either that or rally off the low and then we have a lower low or the same low in the following year. I don't think that that's the case in this circumstance. I think what it is that we revisit lows throughout the year. We see this erratic behavior back and forth, and there's probably 3 to 4 lows that'll be within close proximity to like the lowest low. So you could consider them lowest lows. I think probably the lowest low is going to be here in September or October. And for those of you that don't know what this reading, how this is set up, guys, each cluster of 4 cards represents one month out of the year, going from right to left and then top to bottom. So this is July, August, September, October. And then we probably have 2 to 3 highs throughout the year as well. So really erratic behavior, and those highs will be like the revisiting of crests. With that said, let's take a look and see, as far as the 10-year that we did back in September 18th of 2022 at 12:09 p.m. So that was done in 2022, just under a year ago. And what we've got so far is a sideways fluctuating decline, followed by this like cruelty card, which is this resistance that we keep coming up against and fail to break through. And that resistance or sideways behavior is followed by the commencement of a rally, which, if all goes according to plan, looks pretty much like we crisscross back and forth 3 times through the same price level. And usually in the midst of doing that, the third crosses to the upside, confirming a bullish trend. And we'd have the commencement of this rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time into 2024. All right, so let's get into the week by week behavior. So it looks like we probably have a highest high right at the beginning of the year, and we declined pretty hard off of that through multiple support levels. We visit that cruelty. There's a cruelty price level near the low, or a resistance level that we met many times before near the low. The decline of this high at the beginning of the year is like we rally into the start of the year, and then that rally ends and there's a decline. Off of the low, though, we have a fast sudden move higher on a multi-day scale, taking us to the lowest low here. So we have the completion of this bullish trend and decline in early January, have resistance near the low, which really is going to be like like on the cusp of January, February, and then we have this really big move reaching for distant resistance. It's a fast sudden move higher and then reaching for distant resistance, taking us to a peak or crest. And this is off of a lowest low, big move to the upside, taking us to a peak or crest. An important resistance level towards the end of the month of February that we then decline from, with sideways fluctuating decline and consecutively lower spikes up on the way down from that resistance. And those spikes usually they meet moving averages as resistance, and the moving average is usually in bearish formation. That's not always the case, but we'll do this sideways fluctuating decline towards the cusp of February, March, and likely we are establishing support at the low, the previous low there on the cusp, or in the early part of March, where there's sideways rotation. The prudence card is in a lot of cases pretty mixed behavior, or like multiple false tops or bottoms. In early March, we move pretty high after a notable decline. There's a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of that decline and taking us to most likely the highest high for the year. Highest probable location of the highest high for the year, but it's most likely like a revisiting of the previous high, and that would be a move from the bottom of a range, which was the lowest low there around the cusp of January, February, to the top of a range, which is the highest high there towards the end of March. Behavior around the lowest low will be bumping along resistance, breaking through resistance, bumping along resistance, and then in late March we have some mixed behavior. It's like a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. There is a notable decline from that sideways fluctuating rally into what's most likely a lowest low again there in mid-month of April, where we're doing sideways rotation. There's a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support there to take us into the lowest low that we'll see, most likely lowest low, but it'll be a prominent low there in April, probably a lowest low again, and that'll form after a failed attempt to break through key resistance and a decline through previously established support. So probably from previously established support that we break through, taking us to a low here mid-month April, and then there's a fast sudden move higher out of the low. Behavior out of the April high is a notable decline on a multi-day scale that takes us to revisit a support level we saw once before, right? So we decline here early, and then we're doing sidewaysy behavior mid-month, and then there's a big move to the upside out of that sideways behavior into the end of the month. The lowest low that we see there, or the prominent low that we see there, is within close time proximity to the high for the month. And then we have this notable decline. We break through 2 support levels, bounce around on a support level, and then break down through more support levels into a low there in early May. There's a pop and drop off the low. Behavior around the end of the month, we have the high towards the end of the month, most likely revisiting a highest high at this Ace of Swords, and the high will form after a period of volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher. So we decline through those multiple supports into mid-May. There's a pop and drop off the low, and then we have a lot of ground covered to the upside, ending that period of volatility and taking us to a highest high there. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance around the cusp of May, June, and in early June. There's a notable trade opportunity there that we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. Off of this high, there's the unicursal energy and there's the failure energy, so we should see a really significant decline off of that high. The June low, we're bound by a range, so it looks like we stay within a certain range on a multi-day scale or on a 1-year scale. Volatility in early July, a sharp drop in that period of volatility likely takes us to the low, and there's a decline into the low, offering an opportunity to open up a long position. Behavior around the high for July is an important technical price level on a multi-year scale. It's possible that we see the highs again there, but it'll be an important price level In the end of July, we have a prominent move higher and then a full retracement of that move back down into a trough, a prominent trough that'll stand out of which there's a rally along a diagonal trend line taking us into late August, and it ends with a fast sudden move higher, followed by a decline through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. And then behavior off of the August high, a decline that increases with momentum moving forward in time. We're likely revisiting a crest somewhere around the cusp there, where that science card is around the cusp of July, August. Pretty mixed back and forth behavior in the beginning of September. A lot of ground is covered. There's a prominent crest there as well. It may be a highest high. It's hard to say how much of a range we're going to have here. But if it's a tight range, it could easily be another highest high there around the end of September. It looks like we probably have a peak at the beginning of September. There's mixed behavior. We end up in a lowest low. There's a high probable location of a lowest low here. Second highest probability. And in the end of the month, we have this fake out to the upside. A lot of ground covered and an important resistance on a 1-year scale there highlighted in September. So there's sideways rotation along the low in the early part of October. It ends with a big move to the upside in late October, followed by sideways rotation at a higher price level, like equal amounts of inflow and outflow with sideways fluidity around the high. Probably one of the best trade opportunities is involved here in October, so we'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. Rally continues into November. Along a diagonal trend line, we break through horizontal resistance on a multi-day kind of scale, meet a second resistance, and then pull back to somewhere between those two price levels. We revisit a support level around the November low in the midst of sideways rotation and a sharp drop that stands out in that sideways rotation with a trade opportunity. We likely see the November high more than once based on the Dominion card in the high position where we're going to see price swings. And there's a cash out opportunity involved in a notable multi-month trade there. We'll talk about in more detail in the paid version towards the end of November. We have a breakout in early December. Behavior off of the December high, which will be a prominent crest, is a decline that offers an opportunity to open up a long position, indicating that we're probably going higher into 2025. So the decline off of that prominent crest is an opportunity to open up a long position. There's an important resistance level highlighted in the end of December. It's actually possible we have a new high here based on the abundance card and this prominent crest or peak. It's possible that there's a highest high here and that this commencement of a rally really begins here around the cusp of November, December. And that's TIFI Token for 2024. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you want to see more TIFI Token, guys, let me hear about it. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma, guys. It's super, super important. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you're donating 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities and 5% of the profits back to the channel as a thank you. That leaves you with 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that out of love or reinvest. As long as you follow those rules, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel, my friends. I'll see you guys on the next one.